Hello, friends. I'm Pastor Tim McCullough. I'm the Finance and Business Director here at the church. These past few weeks have been filled with unique, hard decisions financially for the church at times. But I'm not here, luckily for you, to talk about the dollars and cents of the church. I actually want to tell you a story from Daniel chapter 3. One of my passions in life is to teach children, and it just seemed natural for me to pick a story that I get to tell children a lot. It's a great story. The characters in the story are King Nebuchadnezzar and the three amigos, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You're probably already tooling through your mind right now thinking about the story and how you've heard the ending and know what it means. But let's kind of go back through it again. Let's pick it up at the point where King Nebuchadnezzar decides that it's a great idea for him to make a golden statue, one that is 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. To put it in perspective, you would think of possibly the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse. That stands about 82 feet high at the mouth of the St. Clair River. So that's relatively the same size of what we're talking about. It's not a small thing. The statue, the image that he had made was quite tall. Well, the king had made this image, a statue, and he wanted to throw a dedication party, get all the government officials together to look at it and be in awe of it. He made a decree when they came to see the statue, and that's what he said. This is what you are commanded to do, O peoples, nations, and men of every language. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, harp, pipes, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold. Well, immediately I start laughing a little bit because zither makes me think of a Dr. Seuss book, and that just kind of like zither. I never heard of that musical instrument. But the long and the short of it was this. If the conductor was striking up the band and you heard the music, you better fall on your face and worship the golden idol. And the really bad part of the decree was this. If you didn't, you get thrown into the fiery furnace. Not a great outcome. Well, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they served the one true God. They were not going to bow down to a golden image. They were not going to bow down to anything. They served God and God alone. Well, as it is the case in most things that happen in life, I can recall a few times when this happened with my brothers, tattletales, but we won't get into that. There were a few tattletales there amongst the government officials. They raced off to the king and told him what was happening with the three. He brought them before him, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And he asked them why they wouldn't bow down and follow his decree. And this is what they said as the king was starting to get upset and angry. Let's pick it up in God's word here in verse number 16. O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. Well, as you could kind of guess, Nebuchadnezzar was not pleased with that response. His anger seethed inside of him, and he decided at that point they had to be thrown in the fiery furnace. But not just the normal fiery furnace. He heated it up 7 times its normal amount. He bound them up and he threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the furnace. And you know the end of the story. God rescued them. There was a 4th man that was inside the furnace. They were walking around unbound, chilling out, if you can do that, even inside a fiery furnace. But they were saved. God had saved them. And it is a great ending to a story. But I think sometimes when we look at a story like that and we see the ending and we know the ending, we sometimes become very mechanical in how we view it. You don't think there's any emotion involved. There's nothing inside of them that was going on. It was just clear cut of how they felt, and they knew that they were going to be saved by God. I don't think that's the case. Just rewind just a little bit, just a few verses before the end of that, and go back to what I just read, where they said, if we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand. And then verse 18 in Daniel says this, Daniel 3. But even if he does not. See, it wasn't a foregone conclusion for them to be saved. God could save them, God could not save them. Think about the emotions that you would have heading into a fiery furnace. Think about how they were feeling. They were probably scared, uncertain, not knowing what was going to happen. Would God save them? Would God not save them? They weren't sure. And a lot of times we read the story, we think to ourselves, oh, they already knew what was going on. It was going to be easy. They're going to be saved. And that's not the case. They had all those feelings inside of them welling up. But they had something else inside of them beyond those feelings. But first, I want to say this to you. I know in these days we look at what tomorrow brings. And I think it's okay for you to say to yourself that you're scared or nervous. You're uncertain about what might be coming ahead. It's okay to say that. It's okay to have those feelings. There's no reason for you not to have those feelings. I feel those same feelings itself day after day, figuring out where we are heading. But here's where it is. And this is what you see in that phrase. But if he does not. The whole fact of the matter is this. We know that God has a plan. We know that even in the midst of this, when we don't see the light of day, maybe today or later on this week, that even in the midst of our human minds, God still has a plan. If he saves us, if he doesn't, God is still in control. God is still acting. He's not left the wheel, so to speak. He is still present. Even if he does not. Friends, just remember that this week, today, that God is still in control. He's still here. And we have that hope. We have that knowledge in our head. We have that faith that he's not leaving us. He's not forsaking us. We know his plan is right. We know that he is good. Oh, how much we love him. We love him for the fact that he is always there for us, even if he does not. Pray blessings on you this week. Be encouraged. God is still in control. He still has a plan.